Hello, hello. Happy Monday. We made it through another week to get to tonight's live. I love this topic. It's kind of, it's a little bit esoteric. Well, hi, Barbara. Little bit esoteric, a little bit, I don't know. I had this fleeting thought today, and I don't know if it's going to make any sense or not, but I'm going to put it out there for what it's worth. And I really encourage everybody to, hey Katie, hi Terry, encourage everybody to chime in. And, I'd love to have a lively discussion about this because I think it's a really fascinating subject. Fear of success, fear of failure. Do you have both? Do you have one? Do you have the other? Or maybe they're one in the same. Anyway, we'll talk about it as we get into the discussion tonight. And like I said, I hope you all will chime in. I don't have a whole lot of words of wisdom. There was a little bit of like ahas and things for me to ponder, I guess, as I kind of looked into this a little bit more. So I'm hoping that you'll have the same, just maybe some food for thought, some things to think about as you're working on whatever your dream is, whatever your goals are in life. That I hope at the end of this little discussion, maybe you'll feel more comfortable with the decisions that you make about pursuing your dreams, going after your dreams, and your place in the world. So let's go ahead and get started, and folks will hop on later. I'm Mary Moss. If you don't know me, I'm an author and a poet and a speaker in my dream life. And in my 9-to-5, I'm an administrator for a large transportation project here in Richmond, Virginia. And both are very interesting in different ways. And I always say I'm really lucky because I love doing both. I like the variety. So, hey Natalie. Long time no talk to, Natalie and Barbara. So let's start out with success. Once you have it, once you accomplish a goal and achieve a level of success, and whatever that success might be, it can simply be accomplishing a goal. It's not necessarily that you're a big star, that you make a ton of money. It's once you can, check the box. A lot of times I think we worry that it's not going to last. Is it just me? Do I think, nobody will read the next book, even though they liked this book? Or nobody will want me to come and speak at their event, even though, other people do want me to. I think it's kind of I guess you'd call it an occupational hazard, that maybe we think we're a one-hit wonder. I don't know. Yeah. Jewelry design, people like one line but not the other. I think it's true no matter what you're doing. So it's a fear of failure, but isn't it also a fear of success? And that was the thing that I found so interesting as I was doing a little bit of reading this afternoon, that a lot of it's really both. That fear of success is really a cover-up for fear of failure and vice versa, right? Which makes it all a really complicated, jumbled up situation. So hopefully we can get a couple things sorted out tonight and figured out. So what are some of the things that you might be afraid of that could happen once you're successful? I had a list of several things. Your friends might get jealous. They might reject you. They might think, you're such a big shot now. Yeah, how we can self-sabotage our success because of our fears. That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Katie. I think it happens. Yeah, we're afraid we'll let people down or let ourselves down. That also, people might look to us. They might expect more from us. It's like, well, you know how to do this, so now you need to show me how to do it. or, I need help and I want you to help me. And it's not that we don't want our friends to seek out our help, and it's not that we don't want to help them, but people, I think, start making demands on us that they wouldn't have made. And so that could be a fear that, that our time is not going to be our own anymore. Our life is not going to be our own. And I think one of the things that, an important thing to remember is that that's true. And so we need to anticipate that so that we're prepared to manage that in a way that is life-giving to others, but also doesn't drain ourselves. Excuse me. So does that make sense? Have you all found that to be the case, that once you accomplish something, whether it's the same thing that others want to accomplish or not, it's that they either resent you maybe, or want you to be, want to give them more of what you've got, whatever that is, whether it's knowledge, time, experience, whatever. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that, but we just have to guard it. And we have to toe that line between encouraging other people to find their way and supporting them in finding their own way, because there's no two people are going to arrive at success in the same way, because it's a very personal thing. Maybe that we're afraid that we're going to change. I know for me, in the last 2 years, even though, I wrote the first book, and I don't think things changed so much for me. Hi, Kathleen! After the first book, but after this second one, it really did. It changed me. I felt more empowered, I guess. I felt better about myself as a person because I did something really hard. And that can be a little bit off-putting too, because you view yourself in a certain way, and now you're like this new person with a new set of skills and new I guess strength and sense of purpose. And that can be a little off-putting too for us, but also for the other people in our lives, that maybe they're like, you're not the same person that you used to be. And it's not that that's good or bad, it's just different. And that can be intimidating for us, but also for the other people in our lives, right? Anytime there's a change, it can be kind of tricky to navigate. And so that's something that we need to know ahead of time and plan for ahead of time and be accepting of and welcome, because part of that success came through our growth and progress as a person, or as, whatever, as a singer or a writer or a painter or a, whatever our talents or skills or abilities might be. And I've got a few notes because I don't want to leave off any of these, because I think some of these are really important. Or, you know what, I thought this was it gave me a little bit of pause. Maybe we don't think we deserve to be successful. Maybe we look around and we see other people who are working just as hard as we are, or harder, who maybe have more challenging circumstances, who haven't achieved what we've achieved. And so maybe we think like, well, it's not really fair that I've reached this level of success and others haven't. And so I think we can maybe start feeling a little bit bad about ourselves, it's like, and then we start maybe kind of downplaying our success and like maybe not talking about it so much and not acknowledging it so much until pretty soon, in our own minds, we're no longer living that life, living into being that person. Yeah, right. A lot of us do think we're not worthy of success for just a myriad of reasons. And, I mean, you could write a whole book just on that. People have. There have been all kinds of volumes of books written on that subject. Yeah, the world does a pretty good job of convincing us of that. And after a while, we start to own that. And it's really hard to get rid of it. And that's another thing. There are people who may resent you, like I said a few minutes ago, and so maybe we don't go after what we want because we don't want people to resent us. We don't want people, to say mean things about us or to think badly of us, because we have it all twisted up in our heads that those are the people that matter, that those are the people whose opinions matter. But what we need to do instead, in order to, yes, coworkers, they can be pretty bad, pretty toxic. We need to surround ourselves with people who celebrate our success, with people who have had, this sounds crazy, who've had more success than we have. I have learned so much from associating with some best-selling authors I'm friends with on Facebook. Some of them I knew way back when, before they were, famous and best-selling authors. And they're still great people because they stay friends with me. We communicate. A couple of them, reviewed my books for me and it supported me in the whole process. And rather than shy away from them and feel like I'm not as good as them, I guess they're self-possessed enough that they, aren't threatened by someone else, and that they celebrate another writer's success. And so that has helped me stay at a certain level of professionalism, but also being part of a community that's a great support system. So it makes me realize how important it is for me to be part of a support system for others. Either others who are successful or who are, getting on their way to what they want, but also others who are still figuring it out and others who are struggling, because, these great friends and writers were there for me all these years, and stuck by me, and, we all have a sense of fellowship, which is really nice. And so I always try to, if someone reaches out to me, I always try to be encouraging, maybe offer a little bit of advice, because that's been done for me, but that's also just what we need to do. We're meant to be part of a community. We're part of the human race. We're all supposed to be helping each other out. That's why God put us all on the earth together, so that we can all be one big, family, one big human race. So, and another maybe concern that we have is that maybe our success is temporary. It's not going to last. So maybe I shouldn't even try to be successful, because I'm going to do all this work, I'm going to get successful, and then I'm going to be back to ground zero. Right? It's all going to go away. And then people are going to laugh at me. They're going to say, haha, you were a fly-by-night, a one-hit wonder, whatever. Or I'm going to be embarrassed that the success didn't last. And all these scenarios that we go through in our heads that are just crazy, that just keep us from realizing our full potential a lot of times, if we allow those thoughts and those feelings and those fears to overwhelm us. That's why it's so important to be in a community of friends, online, in person, however you can do it, who support you, who uplift you, who encourage you. And I'm not going to say they coddle and pamper and, give you a pass, but they celebrate you. The good, the bad, and the ugly. They stick by you and celebrate your success, and understand if you have, a struggle, understand if you, fall back a couple paces. They understand what that's like, and so they're there to support you. And that makes a huge difference. And so I always try to be that voice of encouragement for other people, because I've been there, and I've been so blessed to always have people like that in my life who stuck by me no matter what. That's right, people who tell you the truth. You can tell people the truth in love, but true friends will tell you the truth even when it's not what you want to hear. So yes, it's important to try to always be that person, but then to try to find people like that around you. And that helps us overcome that fear of being successful, but it also helps us overcome that fear of failure, because they don't let us settle for failure. They encourage us to keep going. Oh, thank you, Beth. Thank you. I try to be positive whenever possible. I'm not always, but I have people who tolerate me when I'm not, and who help me be that way when I need to be, when I'm trying to encourage others. So that's a blessing too. You ask my family, I'm not always positive, but I generally have a positive outlook on life and a positive outlook about others, and I just think that the world is a beautiful place, and that everybody has something to offer the world, and we need to nurture and encourage that. It's just so important, because God made us all to do that. He gave us all a gift that's as unique as we are. And that's right, nobody's perfect. Thank you. He gave each of us a gift that's as unique as we are, and we need all the gifts in order to make the world, a better place. So that's my little philosophy for the night. Another important thing to remember, if we're afraid of being successful, and so we sabotage ourselves, or we don't ever try, we don't take that first step, is we need to recognize that we can't really be fulfilled if we compromise on our values or our goals or our integrity. And so we're never going to find happiness, true satisfaction, if we're not true to ourselves. And the way we're true to ourselves is to live into what our dream is, or at least to live into our gifts and graces until we figure out what our dream is. I'll use the example of this retreat, and Natalie and Barbara and my friend Andrea too, when I fessed up that I had this dream of doing a retreat in 2019, even though it was already 2019, which doesn't allow for a lot of lead time. But I didn't know how to do one, and I'd left it off my dream board because I thought it would be too hard or too challenging. And all three of them were like, okay, let's do it. And so what's really cool, and the three of them really have lived out what I'm talking about. Their dream became helping my dream come true. And that's so beautiful to think about, to have people like that in your lives. And really, that's our job, though. It's not just about making our own dreams come true. It's about helping others help their dreams come true. And so that's why this has been such a blessing. And we're so excited about this retreat. And what we found is that because we are all living in this way, all of our dreams we're encouraging and nurturing and bringing out the gifts and graces of each other, some of which we didn't even realize we had. But I think it's because we're living into what God called us to do. And, God put in my heart to do this retreat. And even though I tried to deny that and deny him and say, nope, not going to happen, they're like, oh, yes, it is. Here we go. Just watch us. And that's so important to have people like that in your life, and to be that person for other people in your life. You can't be successful in a vacuum. I don't think. There may be some people who, that's right, God's guidance is so important. And I'm going to give you all a few scripture, like I always do. There are a few scripture verses that I think would be good to hang on to. I know all of them have helped me at various times. Let's see, what else? I want to make sure that I cover everything. Oh, another reason that it's important for us to claim our success, to say, yes, I've accomplished this, I'm successful at this, is that because when we claim our success, we're creating a life on our own terms, and we're sending the message to those around us that they don't have to compromise their values and who they are. Oh, Jim just walked in the door, sorry. That wasn't Jim, that was the dog barking because he walked in the door. We have to offer them encouragement and a kind of like a hope that they can accomplish their dreams too. And so by living into that and being true to that, we allow others to see that they can be passionate about what they believe in and that their dream is worth having and that they need to be true to that. Does that make sense? That makes sense? When we encourage, by living into our success, we encourage others to go after their own success. It's kind of cool how that all works out. So real quick, I'll just share these scripture, and if you like, I'll copy them into the comments after the live. But I will tell you that some sources say that there are between 360 and 365 occurrences in the Bible that talk about fear or being afraid or being anxious. So that's like one for every day of the year. How about that? That's how important it is that we not be afraid in any situation for any reason. But these are some that I especially like. The first one, hi Linda. First one is in Deuteronomy 31, verse 8. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. And Romans chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That's why we don't need to be afraid, because we know we've been called according to his purpose. So we're not just relying on our own strengths, right? Our own abilities, our own resources. He's right there. He's the one that's the source of everything, which is very reassuring. Isaiah 43:1. Don't fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Psalm 18, verse 2. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. That's just that one is so short and easy to remember. And there's a beautiful song. I'm going to have to try to find it again because I used to love it. But it repeated over and over, my deliverer is coming. And it just said that over and over and over again. And it just becomes almost like a lullaby. That's right, the armor of God. I used to do that to my kids every morning before they left the house for school. I would just pray them into the full armor of God to protect them when I wasn't there to take care of them. And it made me feel better. And the last one that I'm going to share is Joshua 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And I think that's just so comforting too. And like I said, all you have to do to find those 360 or 365 verses, and you can pick out the ones that are the most meaningful to you, is just go out to Google and just type do not fear or do not be afraid, and do scripture, and you'll get all kinds of lists and everything. So that's an easy way for you to, to go through and pick out the ones that are the most meaningful for you. And so I want to close with a poem by Marianne Williamson that most of you have probably already heard, but it's really powerful. And I'll just read it and then we'll go ahead and close. Hey, Gail. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. I love her too. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. I just love this. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And we're liberated from our own fear. Our presence automatically liberates others. I know, Katie, isn't that beautiful? It's just beautiful. And I've read this many, many times, and it's just so powerful. And if you really delve into it, there's so much in just those few stanzas. Yeah, Rochelle, it's very powerful. And that's Marianne Williamson. And I'll put the title of the poem and her name in the comments too, so you can go look it up. You might want to print it off and study it and pray over it and ponder it for yourself or for other people in your life. So that was my musings for today. And I don't remember, there was something, as often is the case, there's something that gives me an idea or a thought. It's like, oh yeah, I really should share that with people. So that was it for today, and it applied to me, so I figured it would probably apply to others. So I thank you for hopping on. Thank you for participating and joining in. And I hope you all have a great Monday night, a great rest of the week, and I will talk to you next Monday. Take care.